This episode is proudly supported by Westholme Australian Wagyu. Whether you're a chef or just love going to restaurants, you know the best ingredients are everything, especially when it comes to beef. Westholme, based in Queensland and the Northern Territory, Australia, is working with the land to create nature-led Australian Wagyu. They steward 16 million acres of rangeland, guided by the natural ecosystem where cattle graze and forage on native grasses for the first few years of their lives. The result is high-quality Wagyu beef that reflects the terroir of Northern Australia. Westholme believe that when nature leads, flavour follows. Learn more at westholme.com.
I love everything. Food is my passion. I love working. I love to be in this industry. That's what I do. I always play with the food.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Ensuring dishes and combinations are sound while taking food on an evolutionary path has its challenges. It's a real balancing act to not overplay your hand. How do you strike a balance between innovation and tradition? Priya Ranjan is the executive chef of the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Trentham, Victoria. Priya, how are you?
I'm very good, Anthony. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to get you on the show. You're doing some pretty amazing things out there in regional Victoria. But how are things at the moment?
Very good, actually. It's a winter time, so it's gone a little bit slower. But yeah, we are very good, actually. Very busy on the weekends. Weekdays are a little bit up and downs, but yeah, that's very good, actually.
Is it a destination for those in Melbourne on weekends? Is that why the weekends are busy?
Yes. It's like we have a beautiful, like it's a small town, you can say, but it's a beautiful town with lots of vineyard, apple cider companies and all that. So people from Melbourne, actually, they come on the weekends just to visit beautiful Trentham they go around with the vineyards, and then we have a Trentham Fall here. That's a destination, and then we are the Cosmopolitan is the biggest pub in the whole Trentham. So that's what mostly on the weekends we get all the people from Melbourne.
Well, it's a beautiful old building. Do you know a little bit of the history behind the building?
Yeah, there was a bit of history. It was a burned down place. There was a fire um, uh, gone through on 2021 or something like that, and the whole place was burned. And then my recent owner, Rod, he actually bought this place, and then he started doing the small jobs, and now we are fully furnished, actually.
Making a bit of a name for yourself with your food there. Tell us about the food offering and your approach on the menu.
Okay, so we are a pub basically, but we are just a bit of more than a normal pub. Like we about the food and wines and all that as well. Like we have a big selections of wines as well, and then my food menu is totally different from other pubs, the normal pubs, gastropubs and all that, because we have a classics. We never left the classics, like parma, chicken parma, sneezels, burgers and all that. But we have a another category as well, which we call it as a main. So in that one we are much more classy food. Like I will not say that we are fine dine restaurant, but we are more classy than the normal gastro pubs and all that. So, and my menu changes every 4 months, so we always try to get our local produce, like whatever the vegetables locals. The lamb is our local, the pork comes from Istra, so that's again a local. The wagyu we use, that's again a local. So we try to see what the local produce are going on in the market, and then I create a menu out of it. which is actually the best part, because we always use the fresh product from the locals, so that like it's not like we get a delivery on Monday and then we use the whole thing till Sunday. So it's not like that. So every second day or every day, a couple of things we get every day, our productions.
Wow. Well, it's a real representation of the region. Is there a couple of dishes you can take us through that sort of speak of your approach with your cooking?
Yeah, like for example, right now in my menu, I have potato gnocchis. So that's again, as Trentham is very popular with the potatoes growing and all that. So we use the Trentham potatoes. We use Azuri cheese. That's again a local product of cheese company. So that makes the fresh, like gnocchis and all that, is so good that you can't find in the normal market. So that's we try our best to actually put all our ingredients uh, with a local produce, so that makes us difference. And plus we got our lamb shanks, which is a little bit different. It's not with a mash and all that. So it's we cook with the Middle Eastern spices, and we give with a saffron rice, so which is a little bit different from normally whoever, like whatever restaurants they do, the lamb shanks with just mash and gravy. So these things makes us really different from other restaurants or pubs, you can say.
It's quite cold at the moment, and the cooler months mean truffle season. Is it something that you can celebrate in a pub setting?
Yes, so we are doing a truffle a function on next month on 17th. I think so. We are doing a truffle dinner. So that will be a very interesting things to coming up. So that's a four-course menu we have created. So that one again we are doing the local truffle. So that will be a very good program, so that there will be a truffle hunt. So the dog will come and do the truffle hunt here. Then we'll do a starter, then we'll do a main course, and then we'll finish up with a local long paddock cheese. So the cheese company, the from the cheese local paddock, the cheese maker is coming as well to explain how they create the cheese, how they make the cheese and all that. Their cheese are beautiful cheese. They are again a local from Castlemaine, and the cheese maker are coming to give the brief description about what cheese we are using, and does the cheese made up of, and then how was the process of the cheese. So that will be a very interesting thing going on in the Cosmo next month.
Truffles are considered a luxury ingredient, and your celebration of the best produce of the region is something sort of more familiar to finer dining. Is it hard to strike a balance of using these amazing ingredients in a pub setting?
Yeah, definitely. It's a luxury, but it's like you have to understand. It's just once a year. That's a truffle month, so that people they want to see that the fresh excitement of the truffle. It is a luxury thing, but the thing is that yeah, we create the something like the amazing things out of the truffle, and yeah, we yeah.
Well, I want to explore what you're doing there at the Cosmopolitan in detail shortly, but take us back to when you were young. Whereabouts did you grow up, and what sort of role did food play for you?
So I have started my career, like I have done degree in hotel management from India. Then I have worked in five-star hotels, got my trainings and all that, my industrial training, and then I've started working in a five-star hotel in India as well. It's a big group called Taj Groups and Oberois. I have worked for a couple of years. Then I moved to New Zealand. Then I lived in New Zealand for around 20 years. Then I moved back to Melbourne, before COVID.
Before we dive into all of that, take us back to when you were a kid. Whereabouts did you grow up in India, and what sort of role did food play for you?
I grew up in a city called Pune, that's in Maharashtra. So I got inspired with my dad, like when we are very small actually, and my dad was an engineer definitely, but he have a passion of cooking at home. So whenever he get a chance, like every Sunday he get a off from his work, so he used to cook. So he used to cook, and he was an amazing cook. So one day he used to give my mother a little bit relief, and then relax, and then he used to cook for us. And then from there only I got a passion. And then because I was very small at that time, 5 6 7 years, so I was helping my dad a little bit here and there. So then only I realized that, okay, like, my dad was very good cook, so I got an inspiration from him.
What was it like for you, sort of taking those first steps into the industry? Were you surprised by what it was like working as a chef?
Yeah, it was my passion from small only. I don't know, like from small, I always used to see that, that TV chefs and all that, like how they create the food and all that in a luxury plates, like this. So it actually fascinated me to go to the hospitality as a chef. And then when I saw my father was cooking, so I got an inspiration from there. So slowly that passion, became my this thing. So yeah.
Tell us about the decision to leave India and explore your career further afield. What was that period of time like, and how did you make the decision to come down sort of to the southern hemisphere?
Because I was in India, as I was working in a hotel and all that, so I want to explore more things, like what's going on outside the world. And that how the the real European foods, European cultures go to the regional and get all the produce things, how to create something out of it. So that's how I've said that it was my passion. So I was having always have an enthusiasm to to learn more about the food, how to create, like for example, how to create a dish. It's not just that the put a salt and pepper in any of the steak and grill. It's to create something different. So that's what I was hunting to. And I always used to go different places and try to learn more and more to get more experience. Because this food heaven, you cannot say that, okay, you are perfect in this every day. Still, after that many years of experience, still I'm learning every day. So that's what, like, I always used to go and try different stuff, different go to different country, learn something from there. So that's what, my passion. I was started growing up my passion like that.
Tell us about your time in New Zealand. Were the kitchens different there when you first landed?
Yes, because in whole life I have actually worked in a hotels, 5-star hotels and all that. But when I came to New Zealand, I started with again working with a hotel called Copthorne Hotel. That's a chain of the hotel. But there was a lot of difference between the culture and the thing between the hotel from India till India or in New Zealand. Then I have realized that there is much to do on the restaurants rather than hotels. So you can create more things on the restaurants, because in hotels there is a specific, like things that only you can do, that you cannot do this, that. So there is a particular things you have to follow for the procedure of the chain. But if you go to the restaurants, there is a no lock for anything. So it's just you create, you sell. So that's what I have then moved to a restaurant. It's a chain of restaurants. Then I moved there as a head chef, and then I started growing up. So once I started there, they have one restaurant. Then I have opened 14 restaurant of them.
Wow.
And then, yeah, 14 restaurant. Then I made that one restaurant as a chain. And then again I went to another group called Barworks. They have, at that time when I have started, they have only 3 restaurant. Now they got 22 restaurant. I was the head chef there. So slowly, I found myself, okay, I can do this. So then that's what I used to take the challenges, and then I grew up like that.
Tell us about opening multiple venues like that. What sort of advice do you have for someone that might be stepping into a role like that, for what it sort of takes to open multiple venues and get them right?
It's just you have to be creative, and plus you have to be more concentrate on the good fresh ingredients what you are using. It's just matter of taste. See, everyone sells food. All right, all the restaurants have food, but still some of the restaurants are good and bad. So it depends on how the way you cook, the way you put the ingredients, and what ingredients, the fresh ingredients you're using on the thing. So if you do your job perfect, then definitely the business grows.
Tell us about the decision to go out on your own as a restaurateur and open a fine dining restaurant in Auckland.
Okay, after I worked for like 15 years there with the largest group and all that, then I realized one day that, okay, now why can't I open my own restaurant? So that's the reason I have actually tried to open my restaurant. And then it was a fine dine restaurant again. Then it was very successful. So yeah, that's what I thought, rather than working for someone else, why can't I open my own restaurant? So yeah, I've opened my own restaurant.
Tell us about Ambrosia and what you were doing there.
The Ambrosia, we were a fine dine. Definitely, it's a fine dine restaurant. It was again in a coastal side, in a regional side. So where it was a very beautiful view on the restaurant, and yeah, our food again was a very different from other restaurants, which was again, I used to pick up the stuff from locally, and then fresh products and all that. So people slowly, they knew that what we are doing and all the stuff. So it was a very successful event. So I really enjoyed Ambrosia very much, but there it was a little bit of lease issues, so I have to close down that place.
Were there any dishes from that period of time that sort of really starred on the menu there at Ambrosia?
All the dishes were pretty much very unique. Like for example, the eye fillet was very unique. We used to present that one with a bone marrow and all that. It was very different from other restaurants, what they do, the presentation of the food and all that. So we used to do way different than the others. That's the reason actually we are very popular. And then here one website is not there, but in New Zealand there was a platform called Zomato. We were the top restaurants in Zomato at that time.
Priya, tell us about the big move to Australia and Melbourne.
We moved to Melbourne because of with the good opportunity. I thought that let's hunt for something different. Like I was in New Zealand for so long, then I thought that, okay, let's change the little bit environment and see what the Australia and the Melbourne looks like. So that's what we have decided, because I have at that time I have a little kid, so that it was easier for me to move to Melbourne. So that's what I have moved to Melbourne, and straightway I hunt a restaurant in regional to explore myself, with the fresh foods and all the stuff, with the local produce and all that. That's the reason actually I have moved to Melbourne and then started working in regional to explore myself again.
How did the job at the Cosmopolitan Hotel come about?
Yeah, I was looking for, when I came to Melbourne, I was looking for a job, and then suddenly, with some source, they said that they are looking for a chef here in the Cosmopolitan. So I came and saw Rod, and then he hired me, and then yeah, we started working from them. It's like 5 years now. I have joined on 2018, so 5 years we are working together. So it was really doing well. Yeah.
The last 5 years have had many challenges. What's it been like for you there? Has there been challenges with the regional restaurant?
Always there is some challenges with, first of all, with the staff issues, second with produce, sometimes with the suppliers and all that. But yeah, there is always something is there, but we always overcome overcome with that. So anyhow we manage to do a regional, to run that busy restaurant in regional. It's pretty much very hard.
Tell us about the team there that you have in the kitchen. How do you motivate your chefs and get the best out of them?
In the COVID, I used to have a good team, but in the COVID time, like how the COVID was really bad for all our hospitality. So most of them, they left the job at that time, and then they changed the career as well. So right now, pretty much, then once the COVID gone, and then again we came back to the industry. Then I picked up some of the guys from the hospitality industry, which they have already finished their level 4, and then I picked them up, I trained them, and they are working with me right now. So I actually picked them as a freshers, and then now I have trained them. Now they are running the show, which I am very much proud of them.
How do you motivate and inspire them? Tell us about how you run a kitchen.
Like first of all, I tell them, if they have any ideas on the menu and all that. So whatever they give the ideas, I try to motivate them with their own ideas and all the stuff. But sometimes, they are all youngsters and all that. So then doesn't matter what they do. I try to create, take their stuff as well and try to create with my own brains, and then try to put something on to their menu. And that's what I try to motivate them as much as I can. I never say that they are, they cannot do this dish, that dish, and all that stuff, which I never demotivate them. Whatever they do, I try to, I taste first, and then if there is something wrong, I just tell them nicely that, okay, so these things needs to be a little bit fixed, and I tell them, okay, how to fix that thing.
You're doing amazing things out there in Trentham, but what do you love about what you do?
I love everything. Food is my passion. So yeah, it's nothing to I love life. I love working. I love to be in this industry. And then the food is my passion. So that's what I always, because I do a little bit of fusion stuff. So it's more creativity. So it's a bit hard to mix two taste together, two a different culture together, but I enjoy doing that. Sometimes I fail, but sometimes I do well. So if you fail, you learn from something, that okay, so it was a mistake. That's what I do. I always play with the food.
Well, it's amazing what you're doing out there, and I want to have you on Deep in the Weeds today to hear a part of your story. Please keep in touch, and we'll catch up again soon.
Sweet as. Thank you very much. Thanks for giving me an opportunity, Anthony.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into the lives of the incredible people who ply their trade in the food and hospitality sector. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast, or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Stay safe and be well.